Hello, I'm Conor McReynolds, and welcome to the Jericho Comedy Podcast. Indeed, welcome to the last episode in the first series of the podcast. It's been such a great series, so the pressure's on to close it out in style, but luckily, we have just the act for that. This week, I'm joined by the amazing Helen Bauer. Helen's like a comedic whirlwind. She's fast-paced, hilarious, and about as open as I think I've heard any comedian on stage. She was nominated for Best Newcomer at the Edinburgh Fringe, and she's gone on to do some really cool TV and radio stuff since then. She's such a gem, and she's always such a total hit at Jericho Comedy when we have her along. Later, we're going to be playing you a clip recorded live at Jericho Comedy, and we're going to be playing you a message from our wonderful friends at Oxfordshire Mind. First, though, let's open this Christmas cracker of an episode with the fantastic Helen Bauer. Helen Bauer, thank you so much for joining me on the Jericho Comedy Podcast. How are you?
I'm in the Christmassy mood, Connor.
Yeah!
Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
This is a true festive treat for me. The last episode of the series, it's a Christmassy episode, and I'm joined by the one and only Helen Bauer. I mean,
oh my God. And I'm
does December get any better than this?
This is insane. This is insane. I can't believe we're both here at the same time.
Helen, how have you been?
I've been devilishly good.
Oh.
I think, honestly, it's been a shitty year, hasn't it? It's been so crap. But like most people, I've also got to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have done otherwise. Looking on the positive side of it, if we forget about all the death.
Yes, all the death, not so good. But all the new opportunities in comedy is interesting if we're adopting a glass half full approach. You've done lots of online stuff.
Oh, yeah, I mean online stuff, but still, it's not the same, is it? I'm lucky to do a lot of online gigs, but you do feel absolutely mental.
I've not done any, so tell me what it feels like.
Why have you not done it? Have you not wanted to?
Well, no, I didn't want to at the start, and then I only really decided I wanted to when normal gigs came back, and then I couldn't get any spots, and that seemed a bit counterintuitive. And so I kind of just give up on it.
Oh, they're so weird, though, because it's I did one, the first one, it must have been 3 days after lockdown happened in March. And I was okay, let's just do it. And I just was so nervous. I felt like I was doing my first heap, So You Think You're Funny. I was just blackout terror. And then it was just fine. You just chit chat. And I've sort of got into the swing of them. But it is just you sitting in your room, just sort of going for a laptop. And this is before they figured out how to have audience there.
Oh, so of course.
My first one was, oh God, it was one of those ones where the bill was amazing. So obviously when you're on with big comics, you want to show off a little bit or make them think that you're not terrible.
Sure.
And it was me, Nish Kumar, James Acaster, and someone, it was insane.
Holy
and we were all in this Zoom just with each other in silence watching. I was just screaming, just you like drinking to nothing. Oh God!
Were the other comics not giving lots of love and support and noise?
So at this point, they were doing all the smiling, all the nodding. We were doing it all for each other. But this is before we as an industry had figured out about the 40% volume of audience mics, and if they say something, they could hear it through your laptop then with interference.
Oh,
so
God.
It was very tricky to not have to get a verbal response from anyone or anything audio wise. Yeah. And now they're so much better. Now I'm doing a lot of Gigless with Catherine Bohart, which is on every Thursday. And that one is done so well and so well organised. It genuinely feels like a crowd. So they've got better.
Has crazy good lineups as well. You guys get amazing comedians to do those shows.
She gets amazing comedians. Let's not pretend that I'm doing the organising for that. It's 100% all Beau Hart and Andrew White. Like I'm just there to, like, I don't know, smile and wave.
This is something I love about being associated with Jericho Comedy as well. People come on the podcast and say all these wonderful things about Jericho, and I have done nothing to get Jericho the reputation it has, but I get to host the podcast and take all the compliments. It's absolutely wonderful.
I heard that, like, Alex Farrow did literally nothing for it, and it was all you. That's the rumour that's gone around town.
I'm not gonna lie. Behind every great man, there is a Connor. That's the saying. Like, Helen, with the online gigs, do you think there's anything, like any lessons you can kind of take away and use for live shows, or is it just like a necessary stopgap? And when we're back to normal gigs, it's just going to be a case of fuck that.
But of course, it's helpful. Like everything, like this is the great thing about comedy. I think what I like about it so much is everything you do is useful. Everything you do makes you a better comic. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes. If you go on a crazy travel, if you go on a crazy night out, everything you do is just a wealth of experience that makes you a more well-rounded person to take to the stage, with the exception of, like, murder.
Helen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't know if you've seen, we have a special visitor.
Are you fucking kidding me? I was just slagging you off.
Were you just slagging me off? Well, guess what I'm here to do, babes?
Flag me. Wait, what the fuck is this? A Christmas miracle?
Helen.
I'm gonna cry. This is so beautiful, but I was just slagging him off.
So Helen, this is a little bit of a gotcha journalism moment. I'm not proud of it, but here's what's going to happen.
Oh my God.
Last week on the Jericho Comedy Podcast, I had the gorgeous Sam Lake on, and he was telling us all about these wonderful things that he's been doing over lockdown. And he mentioned certain thing that you guys did together earlier in lockdown, this wonderful Eurovision project. And I just want you to hear now what Sam had to say about that. So here's a clip.
Wait, what? Oh my God, okay.
Oh God, there are receipts. Oh, okay. But it was so much. It was so camp and so drama. But all of the acts like put so much effort into their song, except Helen Bauer. I don't need to. I'm not. Listen, I love Helen. I just had her on my podcast. She's a love. I love her to pieces. We're Pokemon Go rivals. I have nothing but nice things to say about her, except when we're talking about Eurovision. Helen didn't write a song. She sang 40 seconds of the Little Mermaid soundtrack, but in German. And she was going up against everyone else who had literally like spent weeks working on songs with like in GarageBand, like putting together their own beat.
So essentially what we had there, Helen, was God. Sam dissing your Eurovision performance. And then I dropped the bomb on Sam that you would be joining me on the podcast this week. And Sam said, and I quote, "Get me on, I'll tell her in person."
Oh my God.
This is episode 20 of the Jericho Comedy Podcast, and as yet, we have not made a forum for comedians to squash beef, but I feel this is a beef squashing moment. So you guys, Helen, first of all, over to you for a response. How do you feel about what Sam said?
Honestly, Connor attacked. I guess is how I feel right now. I thought that this podcast was a safe space for women. Sorry, 1 second. I could be a child and say, well, they didn't say you had to write an original song, and they just said a little nod to it, and I did wear a blue dress that was shimmery like a mermaid, but I'm childish. I just think, to be honest with you, it's just really fucked up. Surely I got some point. Someone must have voted for me.
Yes, someone did. I don't know who. The thing is, as I said when I was slagging you off last week, I have only good things to say about you, except when it comes to this entry. Because, like, everyone followed the rules of Eurovision almost to the T, whereas, like, the song can't be longer than 3 minutes. And Helen's was 42 seconds long.
Oh my God, I received a message, I think, from someone saying, can you make it as short as possible because the show's going to overrun? So I cut mine down.
Stop it.
I am not joking.
Stop it.
They were like, everyone is going up to the full 3 minute mark. The show's going to be crazy long. No one's going to watch to the end. Can you please make it as short as possible? I went, what is the shortest you'd want? And they were like, around 40 seconds. And I hit that on the fucking... I'm sorry, Connor, but I'm absolutely livid right now.
I totally sympathise. How does this conspiracy
German.
go?
I follow the rules. I'm livid right now. And also, like, you know what? Right, I'm gonna have a breath and calm down.
Yeah. Grab yourself a Satsuma.
I've already had my Satsuma. You know I have, Connor. I don't know where that's coming from.
That's true.
Okay. I was trying my best. There was a global pandemic going on. I was probably going through a pre-period, post-period difficult time.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sorry for not writing a fully original song, even though some of the original songs were shit. There we go.
I would love... okay. I would love for you to comment on which ones were shit.
Oh, let's just say a general wash of every comedian is like, I'm just crazy quirky. Look at me rhyming something with something that we didn't expect. It's a love song, but about, like, I don't know, a fucking guitar. Like, you know, we've seen it. You go to the Amuse Moose final. Why are we fucking about with this? There we go. Yeah.
Wow. Sam, do you feel that that's an accurate representation of the Eurovision event that you so brilliantly hosted?
Yes, he does.
I mean, is there truth in what Helen is saying? Yes. Do I take back anything that I said? No. In fact, if anything, I'm more committed to it now.
I need to see my clip. I feel like if I see my clip, I will be able to defend it better. But this is, Sam, we're talking like 7 months ago.
Yeah, you know, we've grown. You've changed as a woman. Like, you're a different person now.
I was representing a country in its language. I don't think anyone else did that.
Okay, but then a lot of the other regions were places like Birmingham and Dorking. I know that they speak English there, so in a way, yes, they were representing with their national language.
Sam, sorry, Connor, but if we're then saying that they followed the Eurovision rules almost to a T, but they weren't picking actual countries that are in Eurovision, I'm sorry, is that me that thinks they're not following it to a T, but I actually hit it bang on by singing in the original language or in English? I'm sorry.
Sam, these sound like reasonable points to me. Does Helen not get...
Do they, Connor? Do they sound reasonable? They sound fucking reasonable.
I cannot describe how much this should not have gone this way. Connor started this when we were like just chatting beforehand, being like, so this is going to come out at Christmas time. And I was like, oh, great. I'll light a candle. I'll get cozy. Let's get into the Christmas spirit of it. And now I just feel like I've just been, well, to be honest with you, punched in the cunt.
I did not think the phrase punched in the cunt would make it into our Christmas special, but here we are.
Well, hang on, Connor, it's not about you. Okay. What is it? What were you saying about me before I got on, if it wasn't about Pokemon Go?
Oh my God, it was the sweetest slagging off ever. Basically, I logged on to Zencaster and I went, oh, hi, Connor. And he went, oh, hi. And I was like, it's so scary, isn't it, when you just say hi to someone out of nowhere because you can't see anything happening. And I was like, I did a podcast with Sam Lake last week and I went, hi, Sam. And he freaked out and it was really funny. So
okay, but so you acknowledge that that is an awkward situation which could cause someone surprise?
I acknowledge it. I never didn't acknowledge it.
Well, I think you seemed to pretend to take it quite personally at the time.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me if I did. If I don't remember every emotion I go through in a day.
Seems like that both the shoes are on the other socks now.
I just feel in the spirit of Christmas, we should all say sorry, Merry Christmas, and a compliment for each other.
I would love that.
I think, yes, now is the time for healing. I think things have been said, hurt has been caused. I mean, this flared up in a way that Sam and I, when we were messaging and scheming earlier, we wondered, would this happen?
Hang on. This whole confrontation would not have happened if not for Connor. Connor is pitting us against each other.
Let me say one thing, and that is that the Jericho Comedy Podcast wouldn't exist if it weren't for Alex Farrow and Harry Housem. They set up Jericho Comedy, so can we point the finger of blame where it really needs to be pointed right now, which is at Alex and Harry?
I wouldn't, because I really respect and love Alex and Harry. They're brilliant.
Yeah, they're both very, they're just good men.
They are great guys. They really are.
Yeah.
This is my fault.
Maybe just say sorry to both of us and we can just move on from there then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do Helen first because Helen is officially the guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
And then Sam, I'll get to you afterwards. Helen.
All right.
This is really difficult for me to say because I know I've caused you a lot of hurt, and that was never what today was supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about a celebration of you, your wonderful comedy, and we've all had a difficult year in 2020. Mistakes have been made, some of them in German, some of them in English. But I think we're at a point now where we need to say, I am sorry, and let's just look forward to a better festive season ahead without hurt and pain. Now's the time for peace. Don't you agree?
I appreciate your apology. I agree. And thank you, Connor.
Thank you, Helen. And now Sam.
Now fucking Sam.
Sam Lake. I contacted you at very short notice today to say that I'd be speaking to Helen and asked if you would come on the podcast to surprise her in what we thought might be a funny thing, but we also acknowledged that it might go this way. You made the time to take time out of your working day to come here, and you have faced some pretty aggressive responses on the podcast.
Fucking kid. Okay, sorry, go on.
Sam, you deserve kindness every bit as much as Helen does. And for that, I am sorry that you've had this experience on the Jericho Comedy Podcast.
I also accept your apology. I'm ready to move on. I'm warm. I'm very sweaty now.
This is... I'm gonna fucking kill you after this then. Should both be nervous. This has been an experience, and what a way to get our Christmas episode really kicked off. We're in the spirit now. Sam, I think I think you should go, Sam.
I think I should too. Okay, but Helen, you secretly love this. It will just take you some time to admit it.
I think this should be a new feature where we just invite someone on randomly to say bad things. This is if nothing else, isn't this the true spirit of Jericho Comedy?
Just so you know, the whole episode now, I'm going to be so nervous that my mum's just going to pop up or something and be like, "Why don't you call? I'm alone." Like, I'm so nervous.
Oh my God, this is going to be a whole Christmas Carol themed thing. You've had the ghost of Christmas past has come and spoken about something you did earlier in lockdown. We're going to speak to someone about what you're doing right now. And then...
Am I dead?
You're more of a spirit.
No, you're dead to me.
Oh, Sam Lake, thank you very much for taking the time to come on and address what came up.
You. God bless you, Sam. Merry Christmas.
I don't buy that for a second. Helen, I love you in a very special, unique way.
Thank you.
I think it would only be right if you said it in German, actually, Sam.
Good Christmas.
Yeah.
Is that German? Yeah.
Okay. Frohe Weihnachten auch.
Don't call me that.
Helen.
Yes.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm just like really surprised and sidelined, but what a wonderful Christmas miracle. I just didn't expect to be randomly attacked for something I did 7 months ago. For something that I actually did quite well. I just didn't see it coming. Like, what are you going to do next? My year 4 teacher being like, that project wasn't very good.
I think the worst part of this whole thing must be that one of the big things Sam criticized you for was the length of time for which you sang. And actually, you fulfilled the brief quite beautifully.
Yes. They said a maximum of 3 minutes, but then I was getting messages from the guy organising it being like, we're going to run over, please do it shorter. So I went short so that I wasn't, because I could have been one of those people that just hogs the time.
Absolutely.
But you don't do it. You're respectful to your fellow performers and the audience.
You were thinking of the audience, you were thinking of the night, you were making Sam's job easier.
There we go. And also, who can be fucked if they're not getting paid to film themselves for 3 minutes singing a song? But still... Damn it. Hoping that wouldn't slip out.
Well, Helen.
Wow.
What started as a little, hey, this might be fun. We've been through an emotional experience now. And I feel we should celebrate Helen Bauer even more now. I want to tell you, Helen, how much I love your comedy. I want to take a moment to say to you, you're such a hit at Jericho when you come to perform with us. You're so brilliantly candid. There seems to be, you just have the most wonderful lack of filter, I think, that I've ever heard a comedian have. It's so exciting. I mean, how would you describe your comedy to anyone?
Oh, when people say I've got a lack of filter, it just feels wrong. I'm holding back. I'm genuinely holding back. Like when they say you haven't got a filter, it's like I have such a strong filter. That's the stuff that is on the other side of my filter.
But then isn't that amazing that you've got that quality that you everybody feels so excited? It's like, wow, there is nothing that she won't say right now. But that's so carefully managed. That's amazing. Do you ever make the mistake of revealing too much?
Oh my God, yes. I was once chit-chatting about Pornhub and things that I've typed in to get no results. And literally nearly gave away every specific kink phase I've ever gone through, which I know is just like for my dignity. You have to hold back. And I feel like I'm just, do you know what I mean? Like things like that. And there are things as well, which like you'll say because you think it is really normal for loads of people, but it just isn't. You know?
Oh, yeah. It's why I don't try any kind of like observational comedy, because I don't want to make the assumptions of how everybody else thinks.
When you say something that's an observation that works and everyone laughs, it feels so good because you're like, oh, great, I'm not alone. But when it goes silent, it is the loneliest moment of all fucking time. And I think because I always perform everything like, oh yeah, this happens to all of us. I'm like, oh my God, do you remember when you were younger and you used to think Queen Victoria's ghost was in your bedroom? And everyone's like, no. And I'm like, yeah. Like, it's so sad.
How would you describe your comedy, Helen, to someone who hasn't seen you performing? Like, what's a typical piece of Helen Bauer material?
Just really desperate, just so desperate to be loved in life. Like, there's no, like, relaxed, cool, like, I'm a comic and you're going to enjoy what I'm going to say. It's like, oh my God, love me, or I'll pull a tampon out and I'll chew on it for your entertainment. Like, I'm such a shameless, desperate, like me, like to the point, this hasn't happened yet, but you know when people are dying on stage and they just go so gracefully and they're like, they're not for me, I'm not for them, it doesn't matter. Like if I'm performing to, like, let's say a really like awful Tory racist crowd, I can't be like, well, they don't like me, but I don't want them to like me. I'll be like, yeah, you're fucking right, send them home. Like I'll do and it's so pathetic. Like, but at the same time, I'm really aggressive to people sometimes from the stage. So I don't know where my line is. I'm finding it.
Helen, you were performing at Jericho Comedy on the first night I was ever emceeing. I don't know if you remember the first night we met.
I first met you and it was that venue next to the station, and then I had to run to the other one in Jericho, and I remember you were fucking marvellous and I was gutted because I had to run off straight after.
Oh, you're such a charmer. One of my enduring memories of that night was when you first arrived. You started talking to me about something very intimate, and when I dared to look away, you said, eye contact, make eye contact with me. And you made me look you in the eye while you told me something. Very, very
Do you
intimate.
remember what I was saying?
I remember that it was about your vagina. And I don't remember
Lord.
exactly what it was, but I remember
God.
the intensity of keeping eye contact with you. And then you were like, right, you can now do whatever you need to do.
Oh my God. Oh
It was
my God.
But no, it helped me so much. It took me out of my head.
When
And
you're meeting someone who's new and they're really nervous, it is nice to be like, hey, don't worry. Like, you don't have to do anything to impress us. We're all freaks.
it genuinely really helped me because I was going over and over and over stuff in my head. Like, what am I going to ask people? What if I meet someone really difficult? And you just totally took me out of it.
Good. Well, I'm glad me and my vagina helped. Fucking hell, I need to work on my first impressions.
Maybe the approach with me worked. I mean, it's a big move, but if anybody can carry that alpha energy, I think it's Helen Bauer.
Oh no, there's a couple of us. Like knocking about. Me, Chloe Petts, Olga Cock, like you. Any of us.
That's true.
100% carry it. Yeah, there's a little band of us. It's great.
I love that. That's the common characteristic between you three. That you've got you got the guts to stare someone in the eye and talk about your vagina.
I think it's a really beautiful quality in a woman.
I think it's wonderful. And I think what you said is absolutely correct. Helen, one thing that strikes me about your comedy is you fit so much in. Like, I speak so ridiculously slowly on stage. Alex Farrell makes fun of me for it. And you speak so quickly and you get so much in and it's so high energy. Are you ever just exhausted when you get off stage?
I just think the adrenaline is so high. Like, and also, like, it's one of those things, it looks like a style choice, but it comes out of pure panic that if I go quiet, they'll be silent. Do you know what I mean? So I would just feel every second. Like, my first ever gig, I played music out from my phone because I was so nervous. Like, I think it is just, I'll fill every silence. And then now it's just like, I mean, fuck it, I'm 29, I'm from Northeast Hampshire. I think everything I say is golden. So it's just sort of like filling every second, being like, here's another truth bomb. I love drinking alcohol. What am I, a mystery? Like, it's just, it's too much. I'm working on it though.
What else are you working on? Like, I mean, have you had? You're obviously doing a lot of online gigs and stuff, and I'm assuming you're writing lots of new material for those. Like, what kind of topics have you been writing about recently?
Well, I think same as everyone. I was sort of like gearing up for Edinburgh before lockdown happened. Like, I wasn't close to being done, but I was like getting into that fun phase of work in progress is. And I was doing a full-on takedown of yoga with Adrian and self-care. And I was like, if anything, I was like, oh, damn, this lockdown, this is so inconvenient because this is so on the nose this year. But now everyone does yoga with Adrian, and now I feel like when I'm slagging it off, I'm like really hurting people. Instead of before, where people wouldn't really know that much about her. And now I'm like, oh, fuck, people are going to get super sensitive about this one.
It'd be like criticizing Marcus Rashford now. Like, there are some people that are protected now.
Even though that she's like making money from us feeling ill and vulnerable. And also, like, you know, I don't know if it's important to anyone listening, but she's a failed actress and that made me feel good. I don't know why. Whenever she's like, just breathe, enjoy the pose. And I'm just sort of like, your parents worked in the industry. You fucked it. You had nepotism on your side. It just makes me feel calm. So a lot about
what? Whatever works for people to get into the headspace that they need to be in. I support it.
Thank you.
Helen, you've been doing over the last, I mean, you had such an exciting couple of years really before lockdown, like the BBC New Comedy Final 2018, being nominated for Best Newcomer at Edinburgh 2019. You've been doing so much really cool TV and radio stuff.
Some cool TV and radio stuff, some absolute dire shit. I don't know if these will be out yet, but they might be. I recorded 2 of these talking head shows for like Channel 5, you know, those ones that are on at like 3 in the morning.
Oh, amazing. Like Britain's top 50 crisp flavors, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's excellent.
I had one come through and it was like, oh my God, of course I'll do it. Like, I'm desperate for work, and also like they're quite fun. So it's like, why not?
Yeah.
Like toys, like famous Christmas toys. And I was like, oh, great. It's like June, 100%. But then it was famous Christmas toys from the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. And I was like, I was born in the 90s. Like,
oh, shit. Got to make up some strong opinions about Rubik's Cubes that you've never had before.
No idea the amount of stuff I was digging for. And then I got one through, which was so perfect, which was like the most ridiculous things that have happened on TV, like TV mishaps. And I was like, fucking great. I like Kinga with the wine bottle, you know, like Tyra yelling at Tiffany, Rebecca fainting on America's Next Top Model, all the classics that we all know and love. But obviously not thinking that this is like the 8th year of them doing TV mishaps. And they were all like, do you remember in 1968 when they tried to look at the moon, but a cloud covered it? And I was like, fucking hell. Just in the studio with these two older guys filming me, because it's all distanced.
Yeah.
It's just them being like, so you a fan of Patrick Moore? And I'm like, you love him. Yes.
What's the most manufactured opinion you had to offer for one of those things?
Oh my God. Okay, there was a toy which is a doll that when you write on something, she mimics it. And no one was doing this toy, and they need everyone to do. They can't just have everyone do Tamagotchi. Do you know what I mean? They need everyone to do different ones. And no one had done it. And I quite like dolls. So I was like, okay, I'll do this writing doll. And they were just so happy that someone was doing it. They were like, and like, where would you have played with this? How would you have played with it? And I was like, just like a doll. I'd write something and she'd write it. And then that would be it. God, it was awful.
Did you get her to write any rude words or anything?
This is the thing. They had to source them all for us to have in the studio, but they couldn't find one because clearly it wasn't that popular.
Oh my God.
They just had this like half broken one, which was just a doll with like one eye open. And they were like, oh no, don't hold it. It's a bit creepy. And I was like, you're fucking right, that's creepy. This whole situation is fucking creepy. Give me the Princess Diana Beanie Baby and let's get on with this. Why are we mucking about? You know? It was
I really can't wait till those things come on. I'm going to be making popcorn for that. I can.
Oh, they're going to have to cut me out. There's just no way about it.
Helen, something very cool that you've started in the last couple of years as well is your amazing podcast with Rosie Jones. Tell us about that.
Oh, it is the love and bane of my life, this podcast. So myself and have you had Rosie on the podcast, this one?
Not yet. I'm very much hoping that we'll get to speak to Rosie very soon.
Oh, for sure. She'll be up for it. Like, for anyone who doesn't know Rosie, she's another comedian. She's an absolute babe, and she is a disaster as far as needing attention. The thing is, I'm also a disaster in needing attention. So we thought it'd be really funny to do a podcast about like people who then became performers, like mainly comedians to be honest, but like, did they need attention at school? Did they need attention in their school activities? Did they need attention for school plays? Did they do anything? Did they fake like a broken arm to get a car so everyone would feel bad for them? And we thought, this is so fun. We've got so many fun stories about it. There'll be loads of comics, loads of actors who will have funny stories about it. And then we started recording them. We're on season 4 now, which is currently being released. But we didn't think that having 2 people that need attention with another guest that wants attention would be a disaster. It's just an absolute clusterfuck of talk. It's a disaster. And then also Rosie's got cerebral palsy, and I refuse to not talk fast. So half of it is me just talking over her, and then all of her disability activist fans listening, being like, why is that big one just keep on going? And it's like, well, she was slower than me. Honestly. Please check it out, but fucking hell. And then we keep meeting these fans who are really sweet. But they're like, oh yeah, it really got me through a difficult time, your podcast. They got off like heroin listening to it. And it's like, you fucking kidding? Try a different podcast. One really nice girl, and I know her. She does work in comedy, but she was like, I had my first panic attack the other day, and I listened to your podcast to help me calm down. And it's like, don't know. What the fuck? Don't do that. Anything else? If anything, if you are a bit anxious, don't listen to it. It's so stressful. But, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes.
we will 100% be adding a link into the episode description for people to go to that. But we will be adding the health warning. If you have any anxiety, please avoid this podcast.
Only because I have anxiety and I feel anxious halfway through the episodes. Like, I feel sick.
Helen, I've been asking some other people, other comedians, about like what kinds of fun, creative things they've been getting into to pass the time over 2020. Lovely Louise Bastock has started writing a sitcom, which is really cool.
Oh my God, he's such a legend.
I don't know if you know Daniel Niels Roberts, wonderful Daniel from Ostentatious. He got into whittling, which is an amazing thing. He would just get a big chunk of wood and turn it into a little telephone box. Have you developed any kind of fun lockdown skills or explored any new creative avenues?
To be honest with you, Connor, I feel like I've talked about this in a couple of podcasts. I didn't necessarily find anything new. I just go through a very basic, very quick candle making phase because, be the change you want to see. But basically, I'm a puzzler. I've been a puzzler for a couple of years now. I have a collection of over 30 jigsaw puzzles. Lockdown here, everyone freaked out and wanted to get puzzles. I was already stocked. I've got a neighbour that I've been swapping some with, and I just sort of really knuckled down. I suffered from puzzler's back for 2 months. And definitely had control of my housemate because I was referring to the dining room table as the puzzling table. But we've come through it now. I've got 1,000 piece left, and then I'm going to take a break. That has been my main focus.
Helen, just an amazing start to our Christmas episode podcast. And there is lots more to come after this. Here we are, folks, the last episode of the first series of the Jericho Comedy Podcast. We started all the way back in July, and here we are in December at the end of the first series. It's been so much fun, and I'm having a blast chatting to Helen and, of course, special guest Sam Lake. And the fun doesn't stop here. I want you to get yourself a drink right now. Sit back, relax, and remember what it was like to be crammed into the cozy basement of the Jericho Cafe and relive one of our wonderful Saturday night Oxfordshire Mind fundraising gigs with none other than Mr. Saturday Night himself, Mr. Alex Farrow. Here he is.
Son! Oh my word. I just scandalised the downstairs of the Jericho Cafe there. Oh my word. Lovely to meet you. May I ask? No, I'm not going to ask how old you are. No, fuck it, I'm going to do it. How old are you, sir?
I'm
18. 18?
Yeah.
Obviously. He says, I'm 18. I'm a man. That's nice to meet you. What's your name?
I'm Will.
Nice to meet you, Will. Nice to meet you. Do you want to follow your friends and family into banking?
No, I'm moving to chemistry.
Chemistry?
Leeds, yeah.
Chemistry at Leeds. What do you think about chemistry at Leeds? Yeah. The most popular of everything that's happened so far. Excellent, man. What's your favourite chemical?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Smart. Yeah, that's how you get into a red brick university, isn't it? Good interview technique, Will. I like that. Chemistry. What do I know about chemistry? I've got a good one. I learned recently about castoreum, the chemical castoreum. Do you know what that is? He's like, nah, mate. Nah, more this Latin stuff. So you probably won't know about that name. Castoreum is vanilla flavouring. So if you've ever had like a cheap ice cream, you've probably had castoreum in it. Got a bit of there's a man imitating having an ice cream there. You know. Explaining the concept of an ice cream. What a sad life must be lived. I mean, you know, when you gotta lick it, and it's tasty, often vanilla. Yeah. That's weirder than the weird fact I'm about to tell you. Castoreum, they get from... There's no need to go... Look, were you imitating an ice cream? What were you imitating? That's not what I was doing.
It's the anal glands of a beaver, isn't it?
Round of applause for this gentleman. Just give him a round of applause. You haven't heard what he said yet. Castoreum we get from the anal glands of the Eurasian beaver. And that's why he's going, no. Just in case you're wondering what that image is. That's the squeezing of the glands. Why your tongue is there, I'm not entirely sure. but great factual knowledge. Will, take this to Leeds. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we need a chemist to work out why we can't just use actual vanilla. What's wrong with vanilla pods? I presume it's like an expense thing or something like that. And Will, we need you to work on us all not having beaver anus in our mouths. That's what we need the youth to do.
That's what I'll do.
Paul is keen as well, right? Good, excellent. There's like a couple of issues with the with vanilla coming from beaver anus. One, who the fuck found out that shit? Right? I'm guessing it might be you. Very anatomical knowledge there. But the squeezing of it. Look, he even knows there's two. He even knows there's two glands.
You don't milk them.
You milk them, you do. You milk them, issue number two with that is, you know, like, if you are going to be having anal sex with a beaver, and I'm not here to judge anybody's sexual preferences, don't worry, you're not a pervert. That sex is the most vanilla sex you can ever have. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a round of applause for having anal sex with a beaver. You really didn't like the stuff about Latin in the first half, did you? Oh, yes, that's good. Yeah, very nice, very nice. I used to be a philosophy teacher. You teach about arguments for the existence of God. One of them is that when you look at nature, you look at the beauty of nature, you look at the complexity of nature. And one argument goes, well, how can this sort of thing just emerge? How can the eye emerge? How can a wing emerge? This man's nodding here. Like, it can't just happen. It needs a God's guiding hand to help. I used to think that argument was utter rubbish until I found out that the anal glands in the Eurasian beaver are vanilla flavours. Right? That has got to be evidence for some sort of deity, right? Possibly Satan, but like, I mean, that shit can't happen by accident, right? There's a perverted Satan and he lives in our lives. And it's you. It's you! Isn't it?
Helen, now is the point in the podcast where I take every ounce of goodwill that Jericho Comedy's ever built up with you and I piss all over it. This is pressing questions, a line of questioning so intense that it's been banned at Guantanamo Bay. But with Christmas just around the corner, I've attempted to take the edge off it by making it a series of impossibly difficult Christmas questions. All I need from you are some honest answers. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Helen, question 1. If you were given the opportunity, would you update the gift list in the hit carol, The 12 Days of Christmas?
Yes, next question.
Oh, no. Let's focus on this. Even 5 gold rings?
Oh, I thought it was like answer as many as you can.
Oh, you thought it was like a quick fire round?
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is an opportunity to delve into some of your most controversial opinions.
Oh, good. I was already getting annoyed that you were speaking slower than you had to. Okay.
This
you
is
know,
a
like
real...
Round, and they're like asking a question that's like 3 sentences long. I'd fucking lose it. I couldn't do it. Right, I'm with you.
Helen, let's talk about these gifts that you would replace. Everybody loves 5 gold rings. I mean, would you keep that one at least?
I think I would. I think I'd want like a rubber ring, like a swimming pool, and it to be golden, but with like a flamingo's head coming out the top of it, because I love those sort of like Instagrammable floaties. I mean, I don't have access to a pool, but I'd 100% find a way.
I mean, you could always just wear the inflatable in the bath or something.
100%.
There's always a way. I mean, what other gifts do you think would be better? Because obviously we've got 12 drummers drumming, 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a leaping, 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids a milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6
let's
geese
start
a
really simply. 12 drummers drumming. Have you ever met a drummer that you wanted to spend more than 10 minutes with? No. They're dull, they're in the back for a
maids
reason.
a milking?
They're a bit funny. They're simple people, and all they want to do is just come to drumming their fingers. And because they're doing that, they're too tired to come home and finger bang you, which is the only pleasure a woman can really know. So, get rid of the drummers, cut them. Fuck it, I don't even want a musician, full stop. Give me 12 marketing executives. And then maids a milking, I'd take 100%. Ideally like a chocolate milk coming out of the cow, but whatever it'll be, absolutely fine. As long as the cow is being relieved of some pressure and gets to live a good life, I'll be happy. I don't want the birds. Don't need the birds.
Too many birds.
It's too many birds, and also like I already live next to a crazy man that has chickens. I already have access to chickens, so I'm good.
That's
do you know
exciting.
What I mean?
Do you ever get fresh eggs?
We do, yes.
Oh, that is brilliant. Do you know?
It's good.
Again, I don't want to make everything in this podcast about Sam Lake. He's had his moment, but last week in this segment, I did ask Sam if he would ever like to keep chickens, and he emphatically said no.
He's such a dick, isn't he?
He can be a real dick to chickens.
Such a dick to chicken.
Helen, what's the worst Christmas gift you ever received?
Oh my god. Fucking hell.
I don't want to make you sound ungrateful or anything, but...
Oh no, I've got some absolute shockers over the year. There's one that really stands out, which is I was 18. I can't remember if it was my birthday or Christmas. I think it was Christmas. And my mum's cousin gave me a Zippo lighter with my face on the side of it, but like monogrammed in and my initials. And like the Asian started going clubbing. And it was a picture of me from when I was 15. So it looks like a paedophile lighter. And I've got like, it's that 15-year-old like fucking like the end of Bebo MySpace era. So I've got my mouth slightly open. Like I'm just sort of like, I don't know what a cock is, but I'd accept it. And it's like monogrammed because I was fucking Zippo lighter. So if I go out, and also, whose fucking family members buying them stuff to help them smoke? And then it was just sort of like I'd go out clubbing and I borrow a lighter, and I'll be like, yeah, that's me as a teenager. I want to fuck. Like, oh god, that was rough. That one really stands out.
Do you still have
I'm gonna
this
say
lighter?
That one. Yes. I mean, what am I gonna do? No one's gonna buy it. On top of it. It's fucking it hasn't worked in years. Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, you could get a refill for it.
I know, but then I bought the stuff to refill it, but it wouldn't work. Like the flint needs to be changed, and I can't go into a shop and take. I can't do it. I can't.
All right, Helen. I want to know how many feathers are on the average turkey.
Oh, I mean, come on. 284.
Oh, you are very far off here.
104.
Oh my god, you're getting further away, Helen.
561.
Mate, like, dream bigger here. Turkeys are big.
Okay.
Like, they're quite big.
Fucking I don't know. 1,802.
More.
Are you serious?
I swear to God.
10,000.
It's less than that.
Okay, well there we go. So 5,000.
You're absolutely right. Yes. First guess.
Are
What
you
are the
serious?
chances? How many feathers on the average turkey? Between 5,000 and 6,000 feathers. So there we go. Helen, if you were the Grinch's cardiologist, what advice would you give him?
Oh, bless him. He's got such a little heart. You know what? Fuck it. That heart's never going to be healthy. I just say smoke, drink, and just have a quick, short, fun life.
Your advice to the Grinch is live fast, die young.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just basing this off the film, and they zoom in on his body and that tiny little withered heart. Like, it's just not.
But then, do you remember the ending?
Yeah, when it grows.
3 sizes bigger.
Which I don't think is an enlarged heart doesn't sound good to me either.
No.
Hey,
no.
I'm the cardiologist here. Live
That's
fast,
true.
die young.
And your advice is just, with a heart that's changing size that much, just fuck it. You have no chance of being healthy, so just do whatever you want.
Pretty much. That's probably not the right advice, but I stand by it.
That's almost word for word what any good cardiologist would say, I think. I mean, I didn't go to medical school, but I've seen enough episodes of ER to know how doctors speak.
Right? Okay, cool. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Brilliant, you nailed that one. Helen, what is something that isn't a Christmas tradition, but you think absolutely should be?
Oh my god. I mean, the family fight is a Christmas tradition, and I think it should be. What would be another fucking great Christmas tradition? I definitely went through a phase of coming home drunk first thing on Christmas morning. and I really enjoyed those couple of years. It felt like a tradition and an excuse to miss out on some of the family festivity fun. What should be a tradition?
Did it not make kind of opening presents and that kind of thing a little bit tricky?
On Boxing Day. Like, I feel like so many families that like hold on to that Christmas spirit for like ages, and it's like, just leave it. Like with our family, it's like Boxing Day, right? Everyone off. See you next year. Like, and there's just something great about it. So then I come back to London, everyone's still being like forced fun with their families. Everyone I talk to is like, seems to be having a miserable time. And I'm like, but just cut it, come back. But maybe that's just my family, but we're like, right, we've done it, we've done our duty. Everyone have a good life.
Helen, over a period of 42 hours, Santa Claus travels at 1,367 miles per second to visit all 500 million households around the world. What, if anything, would cause you to move at that speed?
Nothing would ever cause me to move. I can't physically do it. It's physically impossible. Also, let's not pretend that he's visiting every household. He's very much focused on the white households in the Western world. Political!
Oh, wow. We are suggesting that Santa Claus does not care about the plight of sub-Saharan Africa.
I don't think he does sometimes, but that's a man for you.
Typical white man who's been given all this power and doesn't do any good with it.
It's just mad. Like, to be honest with you, I don't know if anyone's like listening who believes in Santa Claus. I never even got to believe in him. It just didn't fathom for me. Like, as soon as I was introduced to the idea of Father Christmas, I was terrified of him. He scared me. I didn't want this fucking creepy man coming in my room at night and leaving me presents. Absolutely not. While I slept. No, thank you. And so we just had to burst my bubble super young.
Oh my God, you called bullshit on Santa, like, straight away.
I didn't call bullshit. I wasn't smart enough to not figure out that. But I was just so scared about the idea of this fucking man that I didn't know appearing in my room that they had to be like, we just tell the other kids that, don't you worry, you're good. And I was like, okay. I was so frightened. My mum had to take me to go see him in our local shopping centre, and she'd go in and I would like stand at the door just shaking, just cry my eyes out, and she'd have to ask him to like put his thumbs up to me to promise he wouldn't come in my room. Like, that level of fear. As I would just be there standing, just shitting myself around an elf. Like, fucking look at me, fucking creep.
Do you still feel the same way, or are you an age now where you would quite welcome a surprise visitor from the North Pole?
Well, to be honest with you, Connor, I don't think I want an old random man in my room at any point. So, no, I stand by little Helen. I stand with her.
Oh, little Helen has all of our support. It is a scary idea when you think about it. Helen, this is a big question. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes, I've only just watched it for the first time this year, but yes, it is a Christmas movie.
Brilliant. I'm so pleased that you recognise that. And I have nothing more to ask you on that subject. So, Helen, do you have an opinion about people who open their Christmas presents after dinner?
I think it's mad that you've got enough conversation to take you up to that time without filling time opening gifts. Like, it's just, even like, forgetting about children, you can't not open presents when they're in front of you when you're a child. But as an adult, like, it just really fills in a gap, doesn't it?
Oh God, it really does. What kind of psychopaths can just look at a pile of presents that legally they're allowed to open that second, and they're just like, no, let's talk instead. That's maniacal.
And presents have like not been a massive thing in our household for like, we don't have any little kids in the family at the moment. So it's a lot of like, oh, well, just do a Secret Santa so everyone gets one gift each with like all the uncles and stuff included. So it's just like one thing. And even then we really try and drag it out.
I mean, if you were in charge of everything, Helen, do you think it should be illegal to not open presents in the morning? Would you go that far?
Come on, let's not bring the police into this. Good Lord.
They've got enough on their plates.
What good has ever come of that? Absolutely not. No, fuck them, fuck the pigs. Make your own laws, you're fine.
So far in the Christmas special, we've had the phrases punch in the cunt and fuck the pigs. This is the true meaning of Christmas right here in this podcast.
Tell I come from the most liberal family ever. We can say anything in our household as long as we don't respect the Queen.
I believe you have just won so much support from Catholics in Northern Ireland there with that statement. If any are listening, right? I believe you could be the new leader of Sinn Féin in Northern Ireland with an attitude like that.
Thank you! Oh my God, I'm going to submit. I'm sure they'll be really welcoming of me in my lovely voice.
Hey, if you just keep saying fuck the pigs and fuck the Queen.
Yeah?
Honestly, mate, that's enough to get you a seat in Northern Irish Parliament. Really.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll discuss this later, 100%.
2021 could be a big year for Helen Bauer in Northern Ireland. That's a whole untapped market for you.
I should probably visit. Actually, no, I went to Derry for like one day. I don't think that really counts, does it?
Oh, well, it very much counts in my opinion. What did you get up to in Derry? That's my neck of the woods.
Is it? I was staying in Malin Head at a friend's house, and then there's like a little group of us that all went over to visit, and then we went to Derry for the day. Just went like on a wander around. It was very nice, very interesting.
Oh, how wonderful! You got the experience of the English tourists, where we take you around and you say, "And this is what your people did to us," and you all have to sit there and look very sorry.
Well, luckily, like I usually get away with it because I'm sort of like, but I'm one of the good ones because I'm half English, half German, so neither side done anything wrong. So I'm just loved and respected wherever I go. They're like, oh no, she's good, she's fine, she's not full bad. Yeah, it's a tricky combination. I'm not gonna lie, it's a real shame.
It's a real cocktail for making friends and influencing people. Wonderful. Exactly. Helen, do you think, given the new developments in Hollywood digital de-aging, it's time for one more Home Alone film with Macaulay Culkin playing an 11-year-old Kevin McAllister?
Oh my God, I never thought about this, but yes, that would be so good. But I always want more of what I loved as a kid. Like, bring on more sisters, you know? Like, I love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just having its moment again on Netflix, which is hugely exciting. I mean, do you think, like, what would a storyline for a new Home Alone film be if you were pitching this to Disney Plus? You've got Macaulay Culkin on board to play an 11-year-old, but what's the story? Because if his parents leave him again, next time it's just child services.
You know how it works. Like, if you're doing, like, the third one, you have to go crazy meta. We learned this from the Lion King sequels, you know, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, Hamlet. You've got to be smart about it. So this time, he's still technically with the family, but he's stuck so much in a K-hole he can't get out. In his mind.
And that's so meta because that is essentially the Macaulay Culkin story.
Thank you.
It's autobiographical, it's timely, it could even be a bit sexy.
Right.
I would be commissioning the shit out of that film. That is hugely exciting. Right. I want to see a first draft of this film in my inbox.
I got a puzzle to do.
That's
next
true.
Time, okay.
All right, Helen, final question, big question. What's the best Christmas song?
Oh, fucking hell. You know what? I love the war ones, like really sad war ones. I'm like,
the one like the stop the hey Mr. Churchill. That one.
Yeah. Oh my God. And like War is Over, that John Lennon, and it starts like Merry Christmas, John. Merry Christmas, John. So
you know, also she whispers at a point, Merry Christmas, Kyoko. And that's her whispering to her child that was taken off her in a custody dispute, and she never saw her child again until like the child was 40 or something.
Oh my God.
There's a really dark layer to that. It's a creepy as shit song.
God.
So you think that these really miserable songs are the best Christmas songs? Yeah,
I really like the ones that are like a bit, oh my God, maybe I'm like a bit of a Grinch, but like I love the ones that are like, I love sad music. Like I always was like, I was that kid that was like, but why would we listen to Busted when we can listen to James Blunt? Do you know what I mean? Like really loved, and this is no shade on Busted. I think Busted is fucking sick. They're so good. But it's like I would always lean towards the drama.
Of course.
So
the depth
it
of
was
feeling in a James Blunt song, no one has ever felt so deeply as that man did.
Yeah,
What about a James Blunt Christmas album?
Don't say it if it's not going to happen, because then I'll get overexcited and I'll cry when it doesn't happen. But you know when you're like walking along the street and it's like all Christmassy, I don't want to listen to like "It's Christmas." I want to listen to a really sad one and walk around pretending that everyone's looking at me like I'm in a film, like a really sad film, and I've been wronged.
Have you ever heard the song "The Little Boy That Santa Claus Forgot"?
No.
It's fucking mental. It's Nat King Cole. It's a proper kind of old jazzy number, but it's just this like really lamentable tune of just a little boy who doesn't get presents at Christmas. It sounds like it would be right up Helen Bauer street.
Oh my god, I'm gonna check it out.
You gotta check it out. The Little Boy That Santa Claus Forgot. It is hilarious.
It doesn't.
I mean, sad,
funny.
but really funny.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Well, there we go. Coming up next, Helen and I are going to be playing a game called Fact or Fiction. First, though, have a listen to this from our wonderful friends at Oxfordshire Mind.
Oxford Safe Haven is open on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday evening from 6pm till 10pm. The phones are open from 5 and the last booking is at 9pm. To refer yourself to Oxford Safe Haven, just give us a call on 01865 903037.
Helen, you seem like an honest person. If you say something, I'm going to believe it, which might make the next game a little bit of a challenge for me. We're about to play Fact or Fiction. In this game, we're each going to offer 3 pieces of information. Either these pieces of information are unbelievably true or all too believably false. We have to guess what the other person is saying, whether it's the truth or whether it's a big fat lie. You get 1 point for a correct guess, or your opponent gets a point if they fool you. Does that sound good?
It sounds really good.
Wonderful. Well, Helen, you are my wonderful guest, so you get to go first. What is your first piece of information?
My first piece of information, Christmas-themed information, is that my dad bought my mum biro pens and then she divorced him for Christmas.
I mean, we have already learned that the standard of presents in the Bauer home extends to a lighter with your face on it.
Big time.
So, biros, I can see why someone might think this is a practical present. They'll use it during the year.
Husband to wife.
Like you know, she's always losing pens, so I'm going to get her some biros. I get that. I think it sounds like a really thoughtful gift. And I can totally see why someone would divorce someone for getting them biros. Mm-hmm. Helen, I'm going to say this is fact.
It's fact, yes! It was the catalyst. It was amazing.
Have you ever asked your dad, in retrospect, does he wish he'd bought something else?
No, because he refuses to see that because he doesn't understand how that would be a problem. If she's going to buy him for herself, why shouldn't I just eat? Honestly, absolutely. I love him. He's the nicest man. Fuck me, thick as shit. Really thick. Lovely but thick. Hi, Daddy, if you're watching.
That is an amazing piece of information. And it really reminds me that maybe this isn't the year to get my wife biros. So I am going to cancel that Amazon order. Yeah. All right. Helen, my first piece of information is the national sport of Greenland is reindeer racing.
Oh my god, I don't know if I want it to be true. Do the reindeer enjoy it?
I'm afraid I don't have any more information. I mean, I would guess it's a bit like horse racing, you know, would someone ride a reindeer?
Okay, well, as long as the reindeer have got really cute names and one of them gets their nose painted red, which I'm assuming is great for the reindeer, then I'm going to say. And also, Greenland, like, realistically, am I going to know? It's either that or ice hockey, right? Like, they're not running around playing basketball. No, I'm going to say true. It's fact. It's fact.
You're going to say it's fact. Oh, Helen, I made it up. It's fiction.
No! What is their national sport?
It's really boring. It's just football.
Okay, yeah, because we've all heard about Greenland
association
World
football.
Cup. Okay. Well, that's a worry.
Don't we all know that Maradona was half Greenlandish?
Also, I thought these had to be personal facts and fiction.
Well, Helen, what that is a failing in the brief. I should have told you what was expected, but I love the personal touch.
No, maybe it's not a failing in your brief. Maybe it's me just being like an egocentric comic and being like, he wants to learn more about me.
But no, do you know what? You're not the only person who's made this mistake in the past, and really, I've got to learn to say to people 3 pieces of like just general knowledge. It's quite a simple little phrase to throw into a brief, but it gives a lot of information.
Yeah,
but you know what? Yeah. I'm loving that these are all about you. Helen, please tell me another fact about you.
Okay. For Christmas one year, my auntie bought me 10 Beanie Babies, and I cried because I already had all 10 of them. 10 Beanie Babies. That's a good gift. That's huge.
A very good gift. What are the chances that you would have all 10? I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask for more information, but, you know, in the Beanie Baby world, I mean, how many Beanie Babies are we talking here?
Well, I think me and my sister had Beanie Babies together, and I would say we got to the point where we had about 25, 30.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we were into it for a while.
Gifted to you. That is a remarkable statistic. But is it fact? Are you leading me down a path that simply? I mean, what are the chances that you would have all 10? Surely there would be one that your aunt found that you didn't already have.
That's for you to figure out, I guess, isn't it, Connor?
Oh. I'm gonna go with fiction for this one, Helen. I think your aunt would have to be so unlucky.
Correct! Yeah, it was. She brought us 5 and I didn't have any of them, and I cried because I was so happy.
Oh, that's such a lovely story.
It was the most magical day of my life.
Oh, that story just captures the magic of Christmas. That's so wonderful.
So beautiful. I know. But then my sister also got 5, and I think I probably preferred one of hers, and I was probably crying a little bit of jealousy as well. Like, it wouldn't have been pure joy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, none of us are purely happy at Christmas. There's always a little bit of envy going on.
I once cried one year because I got the wrong phone, like the most bratty, naughty, captious, spoiled, fucking dickhead. And we weren't allowed mobile phones, we weren't getting mobile phones, we weren't allowed them. And then one year, me and my brother were told, okay, right, you're old enough, you get a phone. And we both asked for the Nokia 3510, which was one of the brick phones, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a fine machine.
And there was one which was like Nokia 3510i, or there was like a little extra on it. And that was like the better one, which I think we were allowed to have. And I forgot to write down the I, but he did, so he got a better phone. And I was like devastated.
That's gonna hurt. All day long, that's gonna hurt.
I remember being like, don't cry, you've still got a phone, don't cry, but like my eyes stinging.
Did you and your brother, I mean, are things okay between the two of you now, or is that resentment carried through?
I wish him well with whatever he's doing with his life, though. No, he lives 5 minutes down the road.
Probably playing Snake 2 right now, just living up like a boss.
He's a good man, but fuck him. He should have given me his phone.
He's a good guy. My second piece of information is that the US government once banned tinsel.
True.
Oh, no messing about with that one.
I don't think you would have made it up, and also I can see how that would have been such a big fire hazard, like back in the day, because it was genuine candles on the tree.
Interesting. You've even got a reason for it.
Yeah.
Helen, you are right, but for the wrong reason.
Oh, fuck it. Damn it.
The US... Hey, you still get the point. You still get the point. Yes, the US government once banned tinsel because it was so lead-based, so it was highly poisonous. So people were putting tinsel on their trees and just killing children.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if any children died. I'm assuming that children would be more susceptible to lead poisoning.
Well, if anyone listening, make sure you Google it and do tweet us if anyone did die from lead poisoning. Don't forget.
We at
We'd love
Jericho
to hear
Comedy
from you.
love to hear about how children have died historically over Christmas. That line might be too dark. I might have to cut that out.
I thought it was funny. Keep it
Very off-brand for Big Dog. Helen, your third and final piece of Christmassy information.
For Christmas last year, my father, uncle, and I spent it watching The Neighbour from Hell about John Demjanjuk. Is he Ivan the Terrible from the Treblinka death camp in Poland? Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Did we do
Helen,
it?
I can honestly say I have never felt so torn between wanting something to be true and so desperately hoping it's not. This would be the most awful Christmas. But, I mean, if this is the same uncle that gave you a lighter and the same dad that gifted biros, I'm willing to believe it, Helen. I think, regrettably, this might be a fact. Oh, no!
Oh, my God. Honestly, even when it was happening, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Because it's like, we still, like, even though my parents are divorced, but we still spend Christmas all together. But my dad stays in the Holiday Inn at Fleet Service Station with his brother, and they walk over, and they walk to, and she lives like 5 minutes from the services in the town of Fleet. Like, she was like cooking, and then my brother was chatting with her and my sister, so then I was watching TV with them, and we just got really engrossed into like whether he was this like Nazi death camp leader or not for 2 days. And like, oh, stop it, you gotta go back to your Holiday Inn now. So depressing, but such a nice Christmas.
That is absolutely amazing. A precious memory that you will carry for the rest of your life.
So beautiful.
Oh, Helen, that is wonderful. My final Christmassy fact is that German Chancellor Angela Merkel met her husband at an annual festive Krampusnacht celebration when men dressed as devils chased people through the streets. Did Angela meet her husband at a Krampusnacht celebration?
No.
Oh, you seem
Fiction.
emphatically sure. How do you think they did meet?
I'm pretty sure. I know that she would have met him somewhere super casual, I'm assuming, because he is just like, I think he's like an artist or something. And they just lived together in this like really nice apartment, like opposite the Pergamon Museum in Berlin. I just don't think she would have taken part in that festivity.
Can you not see her kind of artist husband running around dressed as a devil?
I can now you said it like that. No, I'm going to stick with my guts. I think Angela would not have met him that way.
You're absolutely correct, and it was very naughty of me to try to talk you into that one. But you are correct. It was fiction, completely made up. Helen, at the end of the game, technically I win 4-2, but I think the real winners are our wonderful listeners who have learned a little thing about Christmas.
Oh, and they've also got a lot of learning about anger done there, I think, with all the fights I've had with Sam. That's the main takeaway from this.
It's been an emotional roller coaster of an episode, and what a way to finish our first series of the Jericho Comedy Podcast.
Was that okay? Was it too much? I feel like I've got so emotionally invested in it.
It was perfect. It was everything I hoped it would be and more, Helen.
As long as you're happy.
Oh, I am delighted. Helen, it's been so much fun chatting to you. Thank you so much for doing the podcast. If our lovely listeners want to check out more of your brilliant work, I'm assuming they can follow you on social media and check out your website and everything. Check out your wonderful podcast. Tell us all the details of those things.
Oh, so it's at Helen Bauer, but in between the Helen and the Bauer, you put a BA, like Helen Bauer, because there's another Helen Bauer. But she's great. Also follow her. We met up. She's really nice. She's lovely. She lives in Berlin still. She's a babe.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I know, we got on really well. So we were like, I guess, but then part of me is also like, give me the fucking handle, bitch. Like, you're not a performer. But like, I guess she's fine. And then that's it. Yeah, podcast called Daddy Look at Me. And oh man, just bits will pop up. And if you see my face, maybe click on it.
Oh, I will absolutely be clicking on your face. I really can't wait to hear you talking about toys on Channel 5 over Christmas.
Go fuck yourself.
Helen, thank you so much, and we'll hopefully see you at Jericho Comedy soon.
You will. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye. There we go, an episode quite unlike any other we've had on the series, and what an explosive series finale. Thank you so much to Helen Bauer and, of course, to Sam Lake for joining us. We've added links to Helen's social media accounts and her wonderful podcast to the episode description, so make sure you check those out. I've got to say a massive thank you to all the really fantastic guests we've had on the podcast in this first series. I have loved having these conversations and playing our silly games, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed it too. We'll be back in the new year with a brand new series speaking to more of our incredible Jericho Comedy performers, but fear not. If you're missing Jericho Comedy, we've got actual real-life shows for you in December and January. We're at the beautiful North Wall in Oxford with the show that must not be named on the 10th, 11th and 12th of December, and we'll have a fantastic stand-up show on the night of Saturday the 12th as well. And here's the big one. Our annual Oxfordshire Mind Gala is going to be at the North Wall Arts Centre on Saturday the 16th of January. And we have some amazing acts for you. If you enjoyed listening to Helen, you're going to be very pleased because she'll be there along with the amazing Rosie Jones and Huge Davies, who you heard in the podcast earlier in the series. It's going to be such an incredible show, so get your tickets before they disappear. They really make fantastic Christmas presents, and tickets raise funds for the vital work that Oxfordshire Mind do. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great Christmas. Stay safe, be kind to yourselves, be kind to everyone else, rest up, eat well, and we'll see you for more Jericho Comedy Podcast action in 2021. But until then, thank you so much for listening, and bye-bye.